Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Aaron.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
That's right.
Yes.
It's Miracle Monday. People are calling in already. We're going to talk about setting our intentions for today and for the week. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, align with universal law, and have a great time on a busy, busy week. It's going to be a busy week for me.
Oh my goodness, I saw your Insta story. I was tired just looking at it.
We got the show Monday, Wednesday. I'm off Thursday, Friday because I've got a retreat I'm doing for the girls in Society from Thursday through Sunday. I'm shooting a little music video today. I've got clients. I've got a group coaching calls I teach. It's a lot of stuff going on.
It is. I'm just preparing for the traffic this week because it's intense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You've never been late ever.
I know, and I was late today, so sorry for the late start.
We're just grateful that you're here, and we're so grateful for our guests on this hashtag Motivation Monday. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, we're so grateful that you're here with us. Thank you so much. We have got global track star and the co-founder of Lumi Boom, Mackenzie, is in the house. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're so grateful that you're here with us. We want to know all about your journey and your incredible hair later in the show. But first, tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
I mean, how do I start my day as every entrepreneur? First thing I do is pick up my cell phone and check my emails. Then from there, I go grab a cup of tea and start pulling myself together, getting ready for a busy day.
There we go. Love the honesty.
Right? And your hair matches my dress, so we might have to hang.
Isn't it fierce?
It is.
Yeah.
Great color.
So good. Well, thank you for being with us today, Mackenzie.
Thank
Mike
you so
Diamond is in the house, breaking world records with 7 steps to unbreakable mindset. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, how are you?
Oh, we're so grateful. We want to know all about your journey in the 30 half marathons. But first, tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Mine starts early, 4 a.m. I'm up at 4 because I have a 2-year-old baby, and I let my wife sleep in. So 4 a.m. meditation, in the gym by 4:30, and then I go out and push him a few miles in the stroller.
Wow.
There you go. That's the way to start a day.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the greatest, but that's what I got to do. Happy wife, happy life.
Hashtag goals.
Smart man.
Well, thank you for being with us, Mike. The Fly Brother himself is in the house. Good morning, Ernest.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
We are so excited to know all about your travel series. But how do you start your day here in La La Land? What's your morning routine?
Well, because my days are so different every day, I never have a set routine, but I do try to start with a 20 to 30 minute meditation every morning before I just get out of bed. And then after that, I tackle whatever comes up. Just going with the flow as much as I can.
I love when people say try. Does that mean that they do it, or does that mean that
In this case, I think it means he does it. So what's your meditation consist of?
Sometimes I'm successful, other times I'm not.
That's right. That's right. What does your meditation consist of?
It's a 20-minute meditation that starts out with gratitude and consciousness and forgiveness, and then moves into envisioning the future and the blessing.
Nice. Beautiful.
Oh, that's so good. I'm glad you mentioned forgiveness. You know, we talk a lot about gratitude, but I think forgiveness is key in maintaining peace. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Well, when you think California fashion and lifestyle, Ron Robinson is the first name that comes to mind. Good morning, Ron. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Oh, you know, I am smelling just fine today. This gorgeous new fragrance is getting me ready for 2020. I love how this bottle has evolved, Ron.
Well, thank you very much. We'll talk all about what's new and what's evolving and what's transitioned from modernity to tomorrow. But thank you very much for having me here.
So, Ron, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Well, in these past days, I live on the Venice canals, and the mornings are glorious, and I make sure that I go outside first, and I look around, and I feel like I'm anywhere on vacation. It's fantastic. So I get a little bit of sunshine, I get a little bit of fresh air, and I avoid looking at my emails for as long as I possibly can. But I need a lot of input, so I do read a lot of news. So those are parts of the morning. My child is too old now to take him on a walk, so much too old, so I take the dog out.
Nice.
Fantastic. Ron doesn't know this, but I think about him every single day because I walk past his store in Santa Monica.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see you there.
Absolutely. Great stuff there, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Buy everything.
Well, Cynthia Thoreau is in the house. She is the owner of CHT Wellness, a functional nutritionist, and she's really going to help us get our bodies right with the food we eat. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
I typically start with documenting 3 things I'm grateful for. I mean, I have years of kind of, organizing all this information, and then definitely because I'm a busy mom, I absolutely either am heading to the gym to lift weights or I'm going to do a HIIT workout. That's like, I love to wake up and sweat.
I love it. Wake up clanging and banging. So what are you grateful for today?
Oh, goodness. I am incredibly grateful that I am joined by one of my good friends who's here with me in the studio. I always say she's my biz bestie, and she made her way down to be here today.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's how I feel every day. I get to be joined by these two little ladies. So
Biz
I get it.
besties.
Right?
Well, thank you for being with us. From stage to screen, one of TV's most endearing moms is with us. Good morning, Eileen Graff. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm feeling energized by all of these people that get up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym and sweat and meditate. I am old school. I am bleary-eyed until I get downstairs, make my coffee, read the LA Times on paper. Then I can begin to think about what's happening. I'm a slow starter. 4:30 in the morning, I've sort of just been in bed for a couple of hours. So call me if you're up in the middle of the night.
I will, Eileen. Thank you so much for being with us. We're so looking forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Oh my
Love that.
gosh.
Sometimes the slow start leads to a strong finish, right?
Right?
Yes, it's true.
For sure. So how was your weekend?
It was
What's
fantastic.
up?
It was restful, it was productive. How was your weekend?
Same, very. I did go out to 2 early dinners with 2 different groups of people, and I just worked out, and I got a lot of organization. I knew this week was going to be a hard
Gonna be a
hitting
doozy,
hit.
huh?
Yeah, so it's like, let's get this focused and get rested.
That's
okay,
awesome.
Cool.
What about you, Jess?
Same, a little self-care, a little pool time, and some sushi. Went out to Wisdom, which is a really cool art
cool.
exhibit downtown. There's 3 really neat domes that are housing an incredible art exhibit for Android domes. So if you're in GTLA, I'd highly recommend it. But also getting ready for an event happening next weekend. I'll be in Costa Mesa with Girls Inc. and Speechless. And we are donating 40 homecoming dresses. So I'm super excited. It's a whole say yes to the dress kind of weekend for me. So I'm helping
That's
style the
hilarious.
40 young girls to get ready for homecoming.
Oh, super awesome.
I love that. All the homecoming. It's like if we all look back at our homecoming dresses,
I know.
they're kind of like the bridesmaids' dresses. Like you would never really wear them other than for that
Yeah.
event. But yeah.
I didn't go to any of those events. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to any of the
What?
homecoming. Nothing. I was the most insecure, shy person in the world.
I
Really.
can't even imagine.
I know. I
Like
was
that.
voted actually most shy in my high school class.
The story in my head was that you were like homecoming king. Right?
I can fully receive that, Jess, but that was not my life. It would have been nice. I always dreamed of being that when I was that
That's
age. But
hilarious.
it also would have been my worst nightmare because I just didn't like being the center of attention.
It's so funny,
Isn't
huh?
it? Yeah.
You're such a people person, though, really.
I do love people. It's taken me a while though to get there.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of today's Miracle Monday and talking about, I talk a lot about the universal law on Monday and today's universal law of intention, which basically states that what we put our energy towards expands and what we don't put our energy towards diminishes, right? So important to set our intentions. So I looked up on goodnet.org and it talks about 10 ways to set your intentions. So I thought we'd talk about it. How do you guys set your intention?
I love it. Mostly I just make a decision and then I put up reminders everywhere. I used to.
You do?
I used to put up reminders like everywhere, like little post-it notes, and I'd make my screensaver, a little mantra or whatever. But yeah, that would be the main thing that's the way I started.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, I think it's important to first think about I think that the biggest pitfall that I used to fall into, and I still find myself at times, is focusing on what I don't want or what I don't have or don't, and it's like, then it's like there's a real fine art to just focusing and directing and visioning and keeping intentional on what you are creating. And I think it's an ongoing muscle. Like I'm constantly still, like I'm like, how did I just get off track again? Like, you know, get back.
It requires reps.
Right,
Gotta rep it out.
totally.
And it requires a community that is also in alignment with that reframe, because I find that I'm really good at that until I get into conversation with a friend or a loved one and they say, so did this happen? Oh, I really hope this didn't happen.
Oh,
and then
no.
they flip it.
They bait you into the
They
conversation.
bait me into the conversation of worry and anxiety, and it's really coming from a place of fear. And I'm saying, oh no, I'm good. I've got this. Well, I hope this doesn't happen to you. Well, me too, so stop saying that.
Right?
Let's get back on
So
track.
true, Jazz. It's one of the reasons I decided to become a coach, because I was always getting baited into the conversation. I realized I had to make a career of it in order to like stay on track.
It's so true, right?
Yeah.
It's usually the ones that we struggle with the things. That's why
The
we
most.
chose
That's right,
those
exactly.
careers, right?
Yeah.
But some of the things they say is things like create a mantra in the morning around it, share your intention with a friend, speak it aloud, set your intention versus a ritual, things like that. But I do think it's interesting what you said, because like, how do you switch? Like, say you go to lunch with your girlfriends, and girls, we tend to want to complain. I don't know what it is in our culture, but we tend to say what happened that was wrong or this or that. And it's like, what if you just went, so what's your intention with it?
Yeah.
And like, how are we going to create that? And it changes and flips the entire script, like you said, Jess.
Totally.
I've been really trying to set my intention with everything I do. Even when I flip open the computer screen, I think, okay, this is my time for profitability and productivity. Even when I'm going on the internet or on Instagram, I'm thinking, what is my intention here? I don't want to be mindless about that. Am I wanting to see what people are up to? Am I going on because I want to connect and communicate in my messages? I'm really trying to set my intention with everything I do so I don't waste any time.
Right?
I love that, Jazz. It's
Yeah.
so smart. I think, and that's segment intending, right? So like, for every segment of your day, there might be a different intention. For me, I think I've mostly come to commit to one intention, and that intention is simply just practicing the presence and letting whatever source divine wants to do through me happen. I think
But
that's tough.
but there's a lot of distinctions in that. I did a podcast on it yesterday on mindfulness, which I think is really just practicing it's actually getting rid of the mind. It's like mindfulness. It's actually letting go of the mind. But then there's principles that you must live by in order to stay in that practicing of the presence. So, I'm sure that's what's all in your book. You can get his book.
That's right. If you want to get the book,
Happiness.
$14.99. Check it out.
Anyway, we want to
Do his DM.
That's right side of my DMs, or just go on Amazon.
So we want to talk to our guests, and obviously they've set some intentions to have success in their life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jez Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
I'm so excited to be here on the couch with all you amazing people.
Yeah.
I'm just in complete awe. Thank you.
Happy to be here. And for those who don't know what goes on, this is a big old, there's a lot going on here. You do this every day.
Live.
God bless you guys. I mean, people, there's a lot going on.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, you
I feel that, actually. I can feel that.
How exciting Motivation Monday. And the guests this morning have been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
And we have Rachel Boston, who is in The Last Bridesmaid on Hallmark. It actually is dropping tomorrow, the 22nd, right?
It is. Tomorrow night's our premiere.
Woo!
Congratulations. I am so excited to welcome Jason and Ashley Waller to the show. Congratulations on the new beginnings. We're so excited for the premiere on MTV tonight.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The book is actually being shipped out today. It published this week.
What?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You guys are the
Typical.
first show that I've actually done talking about the book.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Our friends at Universal Pictures have a special delivery for us this morning from a tethered himself.
Ooh.
Have you seen the film Us by Academy Award
my
winner
gosh.
Jordan Peele?
You know, I'm sitting here next to you guys, and it's just like, this is a powerful moment for me. Like, you know, I'm humbled by it, because it's like I'm sharing this movie with you guys, and you know, it's moving for me.
What are you most grateful for today?
I am so grateful to be here and to have the opportunity to be with all these wonderful, badass boss babes and with all of you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to share the positive messages out in the world, because I think the world really needs it right now.
What we've done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
and I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born. Now,
Show the camera.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
That's why I like this show. You know, years ago I did the Dinah Show, which is Dinah Shore, and it was a daytime show. And it was kind of like this. It was just like very up, and it was all positive stuff. They didn't bring negative stuff to the audience. And that's why I feel with this show. It's very relaxed. You know, it's very professional, but it's quite a bit of fun.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
First TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land on today, Miracle Monday. I would say that it's all about intention, and I would say that if there's one job I would want other than mine, it might be yours. Ron Robinson's in the house. He's an icon in Los Angeles. If you've been to a Fred Segal or anywhere in this town, you have seen his ability to curate some of the most fabulous designs we have.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Be careful what you wish for.
Well, I am good at shopping, just so you know.
That's perfect.
Well, Ron, we know you have curated Cool for over 40 years, and you've got an incredible new line of products or evolved products. So what's new?
Well, it's, you know, new is always something that I'm searching for, because that's the goal and the business and the incentive for what I do. So it's really an evolution more than brand new, because it always adds, there's always something happening to it. I started this, as you mentioned before, I'm in the apparel fashion business, I'm in the home design business, and I'm in the cosmetic and beauty business as well in my retail stores. But frankly, 20 years ago, I started making my own fragrance, but I made it in a way that nobody has before, with 100 women across the United States communicating over the internet. Now, this was before there was social media.
Wow.
This was just when the internet started coming up, and I had this idea, and I fulfilled it. I went and I created I had an email sent out to 100 customers on our internet site, and I said, how would you like to be part of a group that helps me create our signature fragrance? And I got 100 yeses. I went to some of our celebrity customers in store. I went to Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Gardner and Macy Gray and Lila Ford and asked them if they would do this project too. And we did this over 8 months. And now, 20 years later, this is absolutely our hero, amazing fragrance. And this was the first product I made, just like this in a roll-on, called If. And this one's a pure oil. May I?
Yes.
So you can just, there's no alcohol in this one, please.
Oh, it smells so good.
Oh, wow.
And,
You were
and just
way
let
ahead
it
of the
sit.
time, because oils are all the rage these days, but you know.
And
you were
I
way
did it
ahead.
because we were a little company that couldn't compete with the major companies out there. I couldn't have the billboard and the model and the bottle that, you know, was the ode to whatever. So we did it in a way that nobody had applied it before, in a piece that you can actually drop. It doesn't break. It's got a texture to it. It's wonderful.
Wow.
There's no alcohol. And I got so much press because it was uniquely done. It wasn't the typical way. Since, of course, we've moved into eau de parfum some years ago, and the new evolution is I gave it a new group of clothes. I gave it a new cover. It was clear, and I just have, in the last several years, really loved white on white on white. I just love that whole look. So I made a matte finish white bottle.
Love that.
With pearlescent.
So Ron, how would you describe the scent of If?
So it's very interesting because when we did this development with 100 women, we sent A, B, and C unknown fragrance that we created in our offices out, and we got responses. And we recreated. Here's where art and science meet, and it was a beautiful change that occurred because we would read responses and interpret them and come again with something new. At the end of 8.5 months, we had a fragrance that 80% of all of these people, I didn't even know they were women at the beginning. We asked later on, what's your sex? And we knew then they were women. And 80% agreed on one fragrance. And it is If, and the notes in it are very citrus top notes, beautiful white flowers in the middle, and what we call a Pacific musk, a fresh, clean musk that we created. And the words to describe it are romantic and sexy and feminine, although I'm very limited to how I can say feminine because we don't put a gender on any of our fragrances, on male or female. And actually we sell it in Japan, and it's probably 40-60 in Japan, female to male.
Right.
A lot of males wear it.
Oh, interesting. Right,
Very interesting.
So, and look at this gorgeous one. You have a new thing with Missoni, right? It's a new partnership?
Well, it's a partnership that I started with Missoni. They came and we did a collaboration with Missoni Home. Mm-hmm. And I did this in 2013 with Rosita Missoni, and
literally falling off the shelves here.
It's a bull in a china closet. But it was restarted only a month and a half ago. We got an email from Missoni. We said, we really enjoyed that program. Let's do it again. So we're in the middle of producing that. And I brought this just to sort of highlight that. But you
have great taste because first of all, I love white. How can you go wrong with white? And then one of the favorite colors is Missoni. you've hit it across the board.
All colors.
Right?
I mean,
they're
it's
all
amazing. The colors. There's actually almost 30 colors in this grouping here. But all of these things, the candles, we won Interior Scent of the Year for 8 out of our 12 scents. The other nominees were Bottega Veneta of Italy and L'Artisan Parfumer of France, Crabtree Evelyn, Bond No. 9, and little old us or little young us.
I don't think little anything, right?
Yeah. So that it's been really a new creative venture that just stimulates me, and I never knew that I could have this kind of an experience from making it. I thought it was going to be terrific just to make a signature fragrance. But the real part that's carrying me forward is the part about how I take a thought, a dream, an idea, and it then evolves into a 4-dimensional product.
Right.
It's 3-dimensional.
But isn't that the power of intention? That's what we're talking about today. And you you impact, who knows how many people you impact, because everyone looks to Los Angeles for these things, and then it goes out through the influencers and through the celebrities and through whatever. So what is that like for you to know that your intention, your thought has created X, Y, and Z and then had this ripple effect, cause and effect?
It's fulfilling, and it's surprising on a lot of levels. Mm-hmm. When I went first to Japan, I've been going to Japan since 1982, but when I went with If, and my friends there told me, well, you're not going to sell fragrance in Japan. They buy fragrance just as a gift with a very famous logo on it. And I said, no, I'm selling to a different audience. Just introduce me to stores where there's young, hip, cool people, and let me go. Just let me go in there. And today, like I said, we've got 60-40 female male. Our volume in Japan, and it started with, as you say, celebrities talking about it. Pop artists and what have you would say, I'm using If. And if you Instagram Apothea or Apothea If, you'll see hundreds of pictures from Japan where people are shooting the picture of a bottle of If or this roll-on, and they love it. And that's really amazing, and it, of course, stimulates me to do more.
Of course, yeah, of course.
What do you think, Rob, is the greatest business lesson you've ever learned, applied, and has led to your success? There was one thing that you said, man, this is the one thing that I did right that's led to. I know there's probably a lot of those.
No, you know, I'm always looking at what I haven't done well enough. And I learned that a long time ago. I always want to, I don't want to expect that I'm the best. I want to expect that I want to be the best. I want to be better. And that's the driver that I think is important for any entrepreneur, to say, I'm not there, I want to be there, how do I get there?
The incessant improvement.
Yeah, and not ever be complacent that you're there. So when I was asked a similar question, you know, what would I have done differently? I always say I would have been more bold. I would have put myself out there a little more. And I've learned along the way to do that. I'm thankful that we, you know, in business, the lessons are, don't get overextended, do what you can do, manage your business properly. All of the things that you have learned or will learn as an entrepreneur.
You'll learn anyway.
You will learn quickly.
Well, it's such great work.
And how do you move that forward?
Totally.
So those are the keys.
Well, tell people where they can find all the goodies.
Well, certainly at Ron Robinson and ronrobinson.com. So we have 2 retail stores in town, one on Melrose, one in Santa Monica.
Yes,
which I
see every day.
Where I'm thankful. Thank you. And if you're in the South Bay, Montage Resort, Barney's carries it here in the United States. We have a lot of stores that are carrying it. Of course, apothea.com is the easy way, and we just redid the website, so I'd like to hear how it works.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
I thank you.
Yeah,
I thank you.
So
You're
grateful.
terrific.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back tomorrow. Good morning, Lala.
Thank you.
That's how we do it. This is how we do it.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jessica Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
We all crave connection.
I'm a big fan of videoing a podcast.
The impact that I'm having people on a podcast is I'm having more impact on those people than I ever did in news.
We want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Podcasts, I understand they're red hot.
It's actually remarkable how scary to me podcasting is. Everybody should have a podcast.
I really wondered why. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody has done this in other arenas.
We have to change the conversation to happiness over financial success. It was like, we have to. We have to.
Honestly, it was meeting new people who had already heard about what we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh, nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch. You can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye. Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. From stage to screen, one of TV's most endearing moms, Eileen Graff, is in the house. Thank you so much for being with us, Eileen.
I love being endearing. I think it's really swell. Thank you.
I must say, I grew up watching Mr. Belvedere.
Did you?
Yes. I loved that show. That was family goals.
Well, yeah.
She said she wants a butler now. It's all your fault.
I want my own Mr. Belvedere.
I had, during those years that I was so busy, we had somebody who lived in with us and to take care of all of us, my daughter, me, my husband, and she used to always call herself Mrs. Belvedere.
Oh, that's adorable.
She says, I'm the real Mrs. Belvedere. I said, okay. She was so cute. Yeah.
Well, we know you're on an incredible new project. Tell us a little bit about it.
Now, which incredible new project would that be?
Making the song your own.
Yeah, I started as a singer, and I still think of myself primarily as a singer. I started singing professionally as a young teenager, and had done a lot of individual coaching with people. They have an audition coming up. Can you help me? Can you help me? And then one day I said to my husband, whose name is Ben Lanzarone, he's a very accomplished composer, I said, you know, between us we have almost 100 years of experience in show business. I think we have something to share. So we decided that we were going to teach vocal performance, and that's what we do. And it certainly has made me a better singer. I think once you start to teach, you have to sort of codify what you do and not just run on instinct.
So true. So we're talking about the power of intention. I think, I'm sure as a teacher, someone's intention comes through in their voice, in their message, in their sing, in their song or whatever. Talk to us about that. How do we set our intention, have it come through our voice?
Intention is a word that we use in acting. Actually, what is your intent in this scene? What do you want to get? What do you want to accomplish? Which is true, you know, in the broader sense of the word. But in singing and in acting, it's very specific. What do you want? What do I want to accomplish by singing this song? What is the emotion that I want to get from myself and from my audience? And so we have a very specific technique that we use to help people do that. I have my students read their lyrics of their song as a monologue before we even start singing.
I love that.
And it becomes very clear what the story of the song is about that way, because you're not thinking about, oh, this rhymes and this note gets this longer amount of time and I have to hit that high note and I'm nervous of it. We just go for story, and then I have them relate that story to something in their real life. So when they're singing their song, they have something to draw from, something real to connect to.
That's a great teacher.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and we see that it works. And if you, as an audience member, I think if you go sort of as an educated anything, you're going to be a better consumer. I think when you go see a performer who really gets to you, think about how they're connecting with that story.
So true. Like people, if they're even a good speaker, you know, if they're nervous and they're just getting caught up on saying it right, they're not getting connected to that feeling and that intention.
Exactly.
So what has been your intention with all of this work?
I strongly believe in giving back. So I've been super lucky in my life. Very, very lucky. I have a nice career. I have a 42-year-old marriage. I have a 42-year-old marriage. I have a healthy, strong daughter who's doing what she wants to do. And I said, you know, and I was raised by a mother who was like an activist mom. She had me walking for the March of Dimes in the 50s to raise money for kids with polio. And I strongly believe that that's part of the calling, is if you have, you give back.
Yeah.
So I believe in that, and so I try to do it.
Which of your personality traits do you think has borne the most fruit in your professional life?
That's a very good question. Let me think. I've never been anything other than myself.
Yeah.
And it takes you a little while to learn that lesson, but in my business, especially in television, you know, if you're not you, they're not going to watch. They're not going to watch. You can't pretend to be Savannah Guthrie. You can't pretend to be Dr. Phil. You only have to be you, and and I have never been clever enough to come up with another character for
Right?
myself other than me.
I think this is probably the common denominator. Don't you guys think? It's like the
Yes.
common denominator when we ask really successful people or influencers or whatever, what is their key to success? They all say authenticity.
Yeah.
It's the number one thing.
I think so. You can read a phony a mile away. You know, if somebody is being way too nice to you and they're trying to, shine you up a little bit, oh my gosh, this can't. And some people are just really that nice. So it takes a little getting over your skepticism, but people they read you.
Was there ever a point where you doubted, I guess, the opportunity for your sort of authenticity to be translated into success? Because I think a lot of people are afraid of being themselves because they don't feel like there's room for themselves, or maybe they won't be accepted, or it won't lead to a professional success.
I think that's a really interesting comment. I think that no. I think that no. I could never. I never tried to be or do something that I wasn't. It just wouldn't work for me. I think I'm not a good enough actress to pull it off. And I've always been a type. My type changed through my career for sure. I started out as like blonde bimbo, doing all the ditzy, sexy kind of things, and I transitioned. But I always sort of had to be me, and I couldn't pretend to be something else.
So inspiring. I love that.
Love it. So how can people get involved and come to your workshops or your class, or what's it like? Is it one-on-one? Is it group? How do you work?
It's a class, and we do it out of our house. So you have to come to me through, it's best if I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. But it's a class situation, sort of like any other class, any other acting class or whatever. You get your one-on-one time during the class. So when it's time for you to sing your song, you go up to the piano, you give my husband, he's our musical director, you give him the music, and we do one-on-one.
Wow.
And the other people in the class get so much out of seeing somebody else work because you're not so focused on yourself at that point. You can take in what I'm telling somebody else and say, oh, I do that myself. I have to be careful of that. Or, oh, what a great idea. I'm going to try that next time.
So Eileen, if somebody was watching and they don't know somebody who knows somebody who knows you, what advice do you have for them in finding and expressing their voice?
I think you have to be honest with yourself about your emotional reality. That sounds kind of airy-fairy, I know, but if you can, in performance, let's just talk about performance because that's my specialty, find the nugget of truth in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a scene or a play or a song. Find the truth in there that resonates within you and focus on that. And then you have to learn some technique. You just do. We can't say, oh, but I'm feeling it. I've had more than one director say to me, I'm really glad you're feeling it. I don't see it. So now let's learn some technique as to how we do that. And that's a lifetime study.
Wow.
Right? You never stop learning.
And that's not just great advice for performance, it's great advice for just all of us living life.
Very
it really
true.
is.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Mindset, skill set, gotta find them both, right?
You do. You
Right?
have to. Without the skill, I mean, it's great to be talented. Everybody's talented. At a certain point, in our careers, everybody's talented. Everybody's good. But what is it about you that makes you, whoever has the best skill set and can make other people understand what it is that they're feeling, they're the ones that are going to do really well.
Great. So tell people where they can find and follow you.
I'm on Facebook, eileengraff.com. We have Making the Song Your Own Vocal Performance Workshop, has a Facebook page, and I welcome any and all inquiries. Oh, and if I may be so bold, I'm not selling perfume, which smells delicious. It's been wafting through the studio in the most delightful way. I'm going to be doing a holiday show in December 21st here in LA at Feinstein's at Vitello's, December 21st. And it's a really fun holiday show. We've done it before and backed by popular demand. So come down, come to Studio City. Yes, tickets will be on sale at the end of September, by the end of September. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
having me. It was really fun. Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm GMLA, host of Good Morning La La Land on EverTalk TV. As a little girl with big dreams, I couldn't stop talking. I turned that into a career of premieres and red carpets and even a talk show. And recently, I had my aha moment. I was hosting a live event. A woman who represented a national cancer support community gently pulled me aside from the glitz and the glam, and she thanked me for mentioning their program on my show. Because of those few words that I had spoke on air earlier that week, one of our viewers battling cancer reached out and got the financial and emotional support she so desperately needed. I'm so grateful to have experienced that moment, a moment that truly reflects how much conversation and community matters. We need more of what matters. It is my passion and purpose to create content and lead a conversation that will ignite the light in my community and empower them to live their best lives, starting today. I'm GMLA, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land on Motivation Monday. We have Mike Diamond to motivate us because he's doing 30 marathons in 30 days, or 30 half marathons. I mean,
That's enough.
what?
Either way, I'm already tired.
I'm tired. So you, I mean, you have such a great history. You've come from, dyslexia, addiction, coming here, bringing us some reality around New York Inc. and Bondi Inc. Bondi.
Like
I said
Beach.
yes. And you've showed us a transformation of your mindset, and now you're bringing it through, trying to make a difference for foundations.
Correct. So I already completed the world record. My last run was last week.
You did?
Cheers to
that.
That is amazing.
Congratulations.
Gosh.
So it was 30 half marathons in 30 days.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, the record was 18. And I decided, well, it was an interesting story. I have ulcerative colitis, and my appendix burst, and I had stomach surgery.
Before, during?
This is before.
Okay.
I'd never run a half marathon until last year, May last year. So I went into surgery, and the doctor basically said to me, "We're taking your colon out," and I was like, "Yeah, that can't happen." I just didn't want to have a bag.
I'd like to keep that.
Yeah, I'd like to. Even if it's a bag, it's a Prada bag, it's still a bag. So he said, "You'll never heal yourself naturally. The infections are too deep." So I started the healing process, and then one morning, actually, I was inspired by a woman called Anne Treason, and I watched a documentary on her, and she ran 100 miles. As a kid, I was a sprinter, and I was like, how did she do that? How do you run 100 miles? So I said to my wife, I'm going to go push the baby 13 miles, a half marathon. And she's like, "You're insane." And I did it and enjoyed it. So I was like, I'm going to find a cause. And I found this little girl, Layla, through the family. And I was trying to raise money for her, but no one cared. So I called a friend of mine. I said, "What do I do? How do I bring awareness?" And he's like, "You need to break a world record or do something massive." And I said, "Well, in what?" He said, "Do half marathons." I contacted Guinness, and they said the record was 18. Wow. And so they give you a 30-day period to run a half marathon, but you can't run more than one 24-hour period. So I said, if I do 19, someone will do 20. So I put a petition in, and I said, I'll just do the whole month, 400 miles.
Wow.
Is that Layla?
That's Layla, right there. Wow. And she has an autoimmune deficiency, so I've been raising awareness. What the hard thing was is I had my ulcerative colitis. 4 weeks into training, I got a hernia, which I got to get surgery in the next week or so. So I ran with a hernia and ulcerative colitis.
So clearly you haven't let any kind of diagnosis
No.
or physical impairment stop you. Is that what brought you to the 7 steps of unbreakable mindset?
I wrote this last year, and what happened was when I was writing the book with my appendix bursting, the rubber really hit the road.
That's when it happens.
I don't have a PhD. I grew up dyslexic. I'm nearly 14 years sober. I detoxed myself. So when I coach people, I'm like, okay, there's people that have the academic background, they have the pedigree to go to Stanford, go to Harvard. I'm not that guy. I came from a small town in Australia, Perth, Western Australia, the most isolated capital city in the world. I believe in the law of attraction. Like attracts like. If you put the frequency out there, you'll attract the right people with the right intention. So I just thought greater than my environment, and I always think greater than my environment and circumstances. I visualize the person I want to be. So when I wrote the book, it all came through me correctly spiritually, and then I'm like, this is it. I've got to go and break a world record and do an unbreakable record. Otherwise, this is all theory.
Right. But you know what I think is interesting about you is that you've had this battle and then this next battle and this next battle. And speaking of the law of attraction, we know that like at some level, whatever commands and stuff are in the subconscious is what is going to keep outpicturing. And so it's almost like you have a commitment to always having a battle to overcome.
I believe the adversity, people say they've suffered, everyone has trauma based on their reality.
Yep.
And their reference of reality. So it's all perception based, right?
Sure.
So if it's post-traumatic stress, why isn't it post-traumatic growth? The adversity makes us stronger. We have to have resilience. So when you look at the great Viktor Frankl, the greatest positive psychologist of all time, I have to use references like that. I'm like, hold on, he was in a concentration camp and created logotherapy. Mm-hmm. I'm not in a concentration camp. I'm running around sunny California. Oh yeah, I've got some stomach issues. Why am I angry in traffic? Do you know what I mean? You've got to have that reference.
So much about this, obviously, that I love. And obviously, healed yourself, able to run 30 half marathons, mind-blowing, in 30 days, and then healed yourself again. And I think part of the challenge and the opportunity with most people is that in order to overcome the condition or circumstance, you know, they have to take their eyes and their focus off the condition and circumstance. And they have to live from that place of having already accomplished whatever it is they want to accomplish. How do you do that, or how did you do that?
What I do is people always say that I don't have a mentor. Yeah. I believe there's two ways. There's an indirect mentor and a direct. Like if I go to you personally, you're a direct mentor. Mm-hmm. But you can get indirect mentors now. You can go and watch someone. You can listen to someone's story.
Like virtual mentors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I always do is I use this simple method called the stop method. If ever I'm disturbed, I just stop. Then the second thing is take a breath. I regulate my breathing, because if I'm disturbed, I'm in my primitive part of my brain. I'm in the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, or freeze. So how do I get into rest and digest? Parasympathetic, breathing. Mindfulness, breathing. Then I observe. If I'm disturbed, I'm always afraid I'm not going to get what I want, going to lose what I have. I'm either worried about the future or I have guilt and shame for something in the past. So where am I not? Present. So if I'm always in fight, flight, or freeze and not present, I'm just full of stress hormones. So when I get into the traffic or I do things, I'm actually not operating in the moment. I'm taking worst case scenario from yesterday into the present. How can I create a future?
Mm-hmm. I love that. There's a little, so as kids, you always remember like stop, drop, and roll. And so I remember, I've been working on these books, so one of the thoughts I had was stop, drop, and roll. When you have something disturbing happen, you stop, you drop what you're thinking, and you roll with the moment.
Amazing.
And that is just what you said so beautifully.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you know what I mean? Then you're always becoming emotionally intelligent. Yeah. So when I work with young kids, especially young boys, what happens? It's young boys that shoot up schools because they can't control their emotions. They're not emotionally intelligent because they're living out of that primitive part of their brain, fight, flight, or freeze.
Wow.
So to become emotionally intelligent, you have to become mindful in the moment.
So important.
I didn't have a way out running 400 miles. I couldn't cheat that.
Yeah.
So speaking of, how's Layla?
Layla's great. This is the beginning of the campaign, so we still have a lot more work to do to keep building the awareness and raise the funds. But we got the first part of the research done, which is great. And now we can kind of single out what we need to now test.
Wow.
Thank you, Mike.
What an inspiration, your entire life, overcoming addiction and really giving back in so many ways. Tell people how they can find and follow you and work with you and get your book.
The book's on Amazon, 7 Steps to an Unbreakable Mindset. It's a simple read. It's only 150 pages. Anyone can get through it.
Yeah, no excuses.
No excuses. The Mike_Diamond on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Love it. It's all LA. La La Land, he's officially here.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It is hashtag National Sour Candy Day. We want to thank our special friends from Pucker Powder for treating us today.
Hey, what is this?
What is that?
I don't know. It's like a.
Leave it to the DIY
It's a sugar hookah. This looks like what I would fill up my car with, the tires. You know, the air thing.
For those of you watching who haven't met Tanya Mimi, she is an Emmy-nominated host.
Oh my God, you're so
Selma's House, the Homer Colton family. She's a DIY expert and she's always up for a challenge.
So why not give her this sour? Here we go, Tanya.
Oh, come on. Shut up.
Woo! Oh my gosh! Oh my
Wow. Come on.
gosh! She's up for it.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. Today we are solving health problems from the inside out with Cynthia Thoreau. Thank you so much for being with us today, Cynthia.
Thank you for having me.
We're loving the dress.
We are.
Very on
Thank you.
brand.
I figured I needed to be a little more colorful in LA.
Yes.
Love it.
Tell us about your journey.
It's interesting. I've been a healthcare provider for almost 20 years, and I went on vacation with my husband, came back, and 48 hours later was fighting for my life. Ironically, I also had a ruptured appendix, but was so critically sick that they wanted to take my entire colon. They were talking about, wearing a colostomy bag, all these things I didn't want to do, and spent 13 days in the hospital. And the whole time I was really focused on getting home to my children, but also delivering a talk that I had committed to doing before I even got sick. And so 27 days after I got out of the hospital, I was able to do that, and it's been impacting lots and lots of people. So I think, spreading this whole concept of surrender, I think we think about it on a physical level, but for me, this whole year has been about surrender on a emotional kind of, physiological kind of, level that I hadn't ever done before.
Right. So you talk a lot about wellness. So how do you define wellness, and what steps do you interview people and have talks and all kinds of stuff. What's your kind of takeaway from all of it?
Well, I think that you have to, the concept of bioindividuality, so finding what works best for you. But wellness to me is having enough energy to interact with the people you care about in your life, getting sufficient sleep, making sure you're giving yourself the best quality food that your budget permits, and also just, finding your way. I think all of us, ideally want to make an impact on the world. We want to have a mission, and we want to be able to share and give and provide to others. But that's when I think about, wellness kind of intrinsically.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Great.
It's so interesting. I love the conversation around surrender and wellness, because I think they kind of go hand in hand. Like, you want to take positive, inspired action to do what you can to manage your health, but at the same time, there's incredible power in just surrender to what you can and sort of can't control.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about that, about the surrender piece around health and wellness, if you would.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to just acknowledging, what are your goals? What are the things that you're really focused on? What are the things that you're most committed to doing? And so surrender sometimes can manifest in different ways. And so surrender can be the concept of just saying to yourself, I can't control everything right now, so let's focus on the things I can actually control. Really looking at what it is that's most important for you to be focusing on in your life, and whether that's your family or your occupation or your relationships with loved ones, or the people that you help inspire every day.
Or your diet. I know that the TED Talk was also about intermittent fasting. So how has that helped you?
Yeah, so I think it's like the most pivotal strategy. After years of writing prescriptions, I'm happy to find strategies that don't involve that. But I think just really in figuring out what foods work for you and your body, what are the foods that make you feel good, what are the ones that give you energy, what are the ones that allow you to, for your digestion to function properly, that allow you to sleep well. And so for all of us, it can be very different, but I think with so many inflammatory foods that are out there, it's really important for us to kind of dig a little bit deeply. And so, things like gluten, grains, and dairy, and, processed sugars may not work for everyone. And so when you're talking about intermittent fasting, it's, within that feeding window, what are the kinds of foods that you're giving to your body that help nourish it?
So how many hours? Is it 15 hours? Is that what intermittent fasting
you can do it a variety of different ways, but the most common way is to do a 16-8. So 16 hours fasted with an 8-hour feeding window is what I find most people do really well with.
And within that fasting window, can you have anything?
I'm a purist, yeah. So you want to keep yourself
pizza, 8 hours of pizza.
Double worms are fine, Rob.
Yeah, you want to keep yourself really well hydrated. So obviously filtered water, plain coffee or tea are absolutely fine. There are a lot of people that do intermittent fasting a little bit differently. Sometimes they'll do bulletproof coffee and things like that. But I always say that's different. That's fat fasting.
I do it naturally anyway. If it's just me, I stop eating at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I don't eat till before the show. So it's,
oh my gosh,
15, 16 hours.
Incredible.
That's perfect.
That's like a
goals
normal.
right there. To eat on the hour, at the hour. It's terrible. Yeah, but I feel great that way. But so Is this, and so you've been doing the fasting thing for how long now?
About 4 years.
About 4 years.
Yeah.
And you've noticed incredible changes in the way you feel.
I have, and I like to remind people, kind of the concept of aging in reverse, that, irrespective of what age you are, it's provided that you're not too young or too old, you're able to engage in something that's so profoundly proactive. And then it becomes, you're much more mindful about how you feel. Like, what do I really feel like when I'm hungry? I'm not just eating for emotional reasons. I'm not eating because I'm sad or depressed, but really saying, okay, my stomach's growling, but am I really hungry? Is that really what's going on?
Such a good point. I also noticed how often I would eat when I was just thirsty.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes just drinking water, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not hungry. I'm just dehydrated.
Yeah.
Well, it's working for you. You look amazing. You're glowing, and
Thank you.
We want whatever she's having.
Yeah, right. So how do they work with you one-on-one? How do people work with you?
So I do have one-on-one programs. I also have a couple group programs, and so different ways that men and women can work with me. But yeah, Find Your Inner Goddess is the program that we're kind of actively working on right now. But
we love that.
Thank you.
Inner goddess.
Yes.
Wow.
The goddess theme is especially for women,
yes.
it really, for many people who are kind of like, I've lost her, how do I find her again? How do I go about, locating her? What's
Where is she?
You don't have to lose her as you age.
Correct.
That's so important.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm getting closer to a bigger birthday, so I always say I'm all about, maximizing the things you can do to do it proactively and, age gracefully.
Yeah.
The goddess is inside.
Yeah.
You gotta feed her or fast.
Yeah.
Well,
Depending on the moment.
That's
thank you so much for all your work, and we're glad that you're okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you for
Please
having
tell
me.
everyone where they can find and follow you.
www.cynthiathurlow.com.
Thank
Cynthia.
you.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned. We'll
Thanks
be
for
back
having
tomorrow.
me.
Good Morning, La La Land. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We have a fly brother in the house.
Yes.
We have Ernest White II. He is a journalist, educator, and he flies around the world helping connect human beings, telling us our story of how we're all just like one.
Yes.
Right?
I thought you were talking about me, Dr. Aaron. I'm going to fly every day. I'll fly like this guy.
I want to fly with the brother.
Thank you. Well, we're all fly in our own ways,
That's right,
right?
that's right.
And it's tapping into those ways and figuring out, what about us makes us beautiful, what makes us worthy of connecting, and that's what being fly is about, I think, as well as the travel aspect of it.
Totally agree. So can you take us back to where your journey began?
Sure. So I talk about my parents a lot when I talk about people, just because that's a solid foundation, what you get at home. And in my case, I was given a wonderful foundation of people who were doing the best that they could back in Jacksonville, Florida. But I saw my parents who grew up in segregation, always interact with people no matter what they looked like, just having great conversations with people. We'd go to Disney World and they'd just be talking to people in the line and that kind of thing. And when you grow up with that kind of model of connectivity, it makes it easy to go out in the world and smile and say hello to people, even if they don't smile back at you, even if they ignore you as they walk past.
Especially if they don't.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn how to, through those years, learn how to still love yourself anyway, still recognize that you're worthy of interaction and all of those things. And so that's kind of how it got started. I was always drawn to different cultures, was drawn to geography. I did a study abroad when I was maybe 16 years old, went to Sweden.
Wow.
The only black kid in the very far north of Sweden, staying with the family. And that was where the bug bit me. And I've been to about 70 countries. I've lived in 5. worked as an educator and as a journalist, and now moving forward into storytelling in all different types of ways.
Well, let's take a look at the trailer for
Sure.
My Brother.
I'm Ernest White II, storyteller, explorer. I believe in connecting across backgrounds and boundaries.
I mean, look at us, we're chasing the sunset.
Join me and my friends.
What's going on, boy?
And discover that no matter the background, no matter the history, the whole world is our tribe. Come with me. Fly Brother.
So tell us what the actual, like, what is the intention of the show?
Sure. So again, the show is about connectivity. I go visit friends of mine that I've made throughout the years in different cities around the world. They bring me into their community, show me their favorite things, and we work with the tourism bureaus. The food and hotels are great, but it's really the connectivity. These are people who have known me for years. They've held my hair back, you know, at the necessary moment. And so it's really just to show that when you travel, it's the people that you meet, it's the community that you build that makes the difference.
What have you learned about yourself in these travels?
Oh God, so much. I guess the most the most resonant thing is that we all want the same things in life: just to be seen, to be empowered, to be loved. And when I'm out there doing that, like that's I love people. I'm a lover, you know, in all the different ways that one can be. And there's no other way or no better way, I think, than travel to kind of get that fix, that high, if you will, of connecting with people.
Ah, it's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, totally. What surprised you most about traveling this much? Is there anything that you didn't expect that now you've lived through and like, wow, that was really
Well, I'll say that now, you know, as our previous guest said, you know, I start collecting more birthdays, you start to think like, okay, I actually might be able to sit this one out. You know, before I used to kind of I used to always want to go, and then realize like travel can also be an addiction. You know, because it was easy for me to run away to San Francisco to see friends, to Cape Town, to Paris, or whatever, just because that was easier than dealing with whatever traumas were coming up to be looked at and loved. And so you know, it's people, they think like, oh, you're going off to have a great time, and yeah, there is that, but there's also using it to mask and to distract. And so after a while, you start to sit back and think like, am I traveling because I really want to go, or am I doing this because I don't want to be by myself?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being so vulnerable. And I think that what's fascinating about traveling also, I'm wondering, is that we're so much alike. Even when cultures are different, there's a core like essence of us that we're all so similar. What are those kind of things that went, wow, this is very similar over here and here? Like what did you find?
I would say you show up in certain countries where people look nothing like you. Poland, for example, and you go to an event and they are just dancing, and the music is amazing, and everyone's really just kind of vibing on the same level, you know. And then when you start to see that same thing happening everywhere that you go, that's when you're just like,
it's weird, huh?
You know, It's I mean, that's the alchemy of travel. I feel like is it just allows you to get outside of your box and to resonate and recognize yourself in other people.
Right. We are an organism. I mean, the earth, we're one with the earth.
Yes.
We're one, like, it's like we forgot.
Absolutely. But the technology now allows us, like it can separate, but it also allows us to connect, to go online to get offline. And that's what I try to encourage people to do through the show and the website and all the other associated like services that we provide, which is transformation.
Where and when can we watch?
So we're set to debut on PBS public television at early 2020. So we're excited about that. And then if other things blossom from there, because we know there's multiple distribution streams available to us these days. But everyone can follow at flybrother.net to find out more information as things
And just
firm up.
at Flybrother on Instagram.
At Flybrother on Instagram, and on Facebook, Flybrother Fly.
Wow. Well, if you ever need a couple fly girls.
Big girl first class.
Me too. I'm doing that more and more too. Right, exactly.
Stay tuned. We'll get more Good Morning Wildland. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. In a digital media world filled with incredible podcasts that are the evolution of radio, EverTalk is bringing this audio experience to television. I'm Jezza Moye, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network. EverTalk is an entertainment and lifestyle platform that illuminates consciousness and showcases inspiring stories that offer insight, inspiration, and thought-provoking conversations on positivity, wellness, Insta-fame, and empowerment, all while celebrating the trials and triumphs of those who are igniting a positive change in the world. These curated talk shows are hosted by passionate, talented personalities who themselves have been inspired by others to give back through their on-air efforts and create a community to helping our viewers live the life they truly deserve. New binge-worthy content is added daily, and our EverTalk algorithms are designed to give our subscribers the programming they really desire. These shows are streamed in high definition and are available online and across all major video platforms, including Apple TV and Roku. EverTalk is #community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere. And EverTalk TV, your home for talk. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this #Motivation Monday, we are giving your hair some attitude with the co-founder of Lumi Boom, Mackenzie. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Your hair.
Looks excited too.
Yes.
Yes, her hair looks excited too.
Amazing.
Well, good. It's doing what it's supposed
That's
to do.
right,
then.
exactly.
Well, what's funny is that on the it's a little bit more. Well, it's a totally different color on screen. Same with the dress. It's like it's so beautiful though. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I call this my boss hair.
Serious
This is my
boss hair.
boss color. I mean, when I'm in this color, I just feel like I can take over the world.
Right?
So tell us about some of these products.
So I have some wonderful products. I mean, I started my company as a hair company, and it started with hair just because that has been something that has been a part of my life since I was in high school. So including hair, I'm also, or selling a businesswoman, I am also an athlete. And it allows you to go from being a hardcore athlete to being here today, easily.
Yeah.
And then as my business grew, we started adding other products because we also started thinking about, it really starts from the inside. Beauty starts from the inside out. So we have your teas, a CBD tea. We actually just launched with a chamomile tea, which is really good for just relaxing you, helping you chill out. And also, if you have some aches and pains, I know I do as an athlete. And we also have vitamins.
Okay, let's talk about these vitamins. I can never buy these, anything that's gummy vitamins, because I'll eat them like they're candy.
Yeah, I
I'll eat the whole
I buy
damn-
only gummies. Jez and I talked about this.
I can't do it. I mean, they're so good though.
And they're also good for you. It has your vitamins A, C, D, everything that you need to, feel great and be able to do your best.
Yes.
So Mackenzie, I'm very curious about your mindset. You are a world-class track star.
Okay.
So as an athlete and an entrepreneur, where do you do, what do you go, what are your mindset practices to really stay in the game?
My mindset practices to stay in the game is just sort of believing in myself. It is really going to your end zone. For me, it's music. I'll put my music on and it's like it tunes the rest of the world out. So whatever is going on, whether it's in business, in your personal life, even at practice, because practice is not always perfect.
Right.
The music just kind of puts me in my zone and gets me into my killer instinct, my aggressive state. And then when I get to the line, it's like, let's go.
What's on your playlist right now? I gotta know.
Yeah, right?
I want that playlist.
I have, all kind of music on my playlist. I have, what's on my playlist? Hell and Back from Kid Ink. I have Lose Your Mind from Eminem.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I have some Carly B.
Yeah.
But really, it's not about what's on the playlist, it's about what's in your hair. Let's take a look at Lumi Boom.
I'm Mackenzie Hill, founder of Lumi Bloom, a one-stop shop for all your hair needs. Hair is not only a way to show off your beauty, it's a way to express your lifestyle and embrace your power as a woman. I wanted to create hair products that would not only help women create their most beautiful self, but also empower them to live their best lives. What began as a company for Black women and their hair is now an amazing line of hair care products, vitamins. It's a lifestyle. Black women have been shaping the hairstyles for all women for decades. From Beverly Johnson to Viola Davis at the Oscars. I mean, you had Destiny's Child, Naomi Campbell, Janet Jackson. I mean, Diana Ross, who's made it possible for everybody. And of course now, Beyonce. These amazing women were hair and lifestyle trendsetters for decades.
So fun. I want you to do some pink hair on me. I've been dying to do that.
So let's talk about the hair.
Okay, yes ma'am.
All natural,
Yes, ma'am.
paraben-free.
Yes.
What makes these extensions unique?
What makes these extensions unique? It's not even the extensions that are unique, it's more of the experience that you get. Just like every entrepreneur, I got into the game because I saw a void. And one thing is, you're spending a fortune on hair or extensions, and you didn't really get, that customer service wasn't there. You didn't really get a good feeling when when you pay for something that's expensive, you walk out not only because you got something that you want, but also like, they were really nice, or that website was beautiful. So I just thought that this is a product that I can give to our customers in a better way and make them feel good about it. I mean, it's a lifestyle, it's an experience that I want everybody to enjoy. So when they're putting in their hair, when they're walking down the street with their teal hair, blonde hair, brown hair, they feel good that not only that they look good, but that they have a community or support behind them within the brand.
They feel like you in that starting block.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then they can conquer the world.
Yes.
And then like her across the finish
That's right,
line.
exactly,
Right.
first.
So Mackenzie, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Training for the 2020 Olympics, expanding my brand a little bit more. I have some cool products coming out in 2020, and continuing to build my empire and running both my business and running track.
Is it a lot to manage both?
It is a lot to manage both. To manage being an entrepreneur and running track, one thing I had to do is get a strong team behind me and delegate. That is one of the hardest things it was for me to learn, but it is essential. You really can't do it all on your own.
There's no way, yeah.
Wow. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow your personal journey and get your incredible products.
You can follow my personal journey at Mackenzie McLean Hill, Mackenzie McLean _Hill on Instagram and on Facebook. And then you can find Lumi Bloom products at lumibloom.com. And you can follow us at Lumi Bloom on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Nice.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Exactly. Give your hair some attitude. We are
Give your hair
Good Morning
some
La La
attitude.
Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV, on Apple TV, and Roku.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. You guys have a beautiful Miracle Monday. Set your intention and make it happen.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.